Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spin Rack. This is Mars here. I'm here with my boys.
PD.
Calvin Ellis ready to rock.
Right. So today we're going to be discussing this latest news slam. I don't know what else to call it. Rob Liefeld in this post here is that he's officially retiring from Deadpool. Now hold on. A lot of us thought that he left Deadpool a long time ago. So I'm a tad bit confused. So I'm going to push it over to PD. PD, you tell me what the heck is going on here. Is he on? Is he off? What's going on? Is this just some type of noise that's going on?
I think this is to garner some interest in it. Not that there wouldn't be interest, but he's making sure that Marvel maximizes because I think the Major X storyline he did, even though it sold well, Marvel didn't really back it that much, so they kind of just did two variants. So I think this is my opinion, is that he's trying to garner some interest. That not to say that it needs to, but he knows that books needs to sell, and if this thing is big, whatever, like it's like who's that guy, Mark Cuban. He's gone up this thing of selling his shares to ultimately, hopefully, either get out of some bad debt or to do something bigger. It feels like he's trying to set up for the next stage of his comic career, but at the same time, he's doing his supposedly final Deadpool story, and he kind of highlights some of the stuff that he did. That he introduced the Deadpool core. I'm not sure how do you make a big deal out of that when you're just doing a whole bunch of knockoffs of the Deadpool character, but in female and in dog form. You also had Deadpool Bad Blood, so we get another one, and it's going to be supposedly all the hits. Now, I can't see. No, I looked through. I think Snake Eyes that he did, and I don't think that his writing is adding too much depth into any of these storylines. But I'm pretty sure this is going to be a big deal for any Rob Liefeld fans. Only thing is, I don't need him. This is the thing that Frank Miller, because I always mention Byrne first. Frank Miller said in his thing of, that John Byrne was right. He said that these guys want a press release when they put their pen in some ink. Like immediately they're like, hey, look, I'm doing a press release. That's the problem with it. If he's just like saying, hey, I'm doing Deadpool, he's making it into another image event where it's like, this is my last retiring from Deadpool thing. And like, I'm the daddy of it. I created him. It was, yeah, and it was him. It was him and Fabian Ascenzo kind of gave it the voice, but Rob kind of told him what the voice was. Many other people added a little more depth to it, being Fabian Ascenza, Joe Kelly, and many great artists at the same time. But Rob, being the creator, the one who made the initial buzz, all the initial blow up of those issues that cost so much now of New Mutants 98, he is going with that success and making you say you have to buy this book. So I'll pass it off to whoever wants to take it on now before I start saying something really negative.
So what about you, Cal? What's your take on this?
I didn't realize that Rob Liefeld wrote any seminal Deadpool stories.
Oh, what Cal? Sorry,
Right.
Mars. I didn't say that.
Right.
That wasn't me. That wasn't me.
So just to clarify, he is the developer, creator, official creator of Deadpool, and he's the one associated with Deadpool. So you can go on
Yeah,
there.
Jerry Conway is the creator of the Punisher. I don't recall Jerry Conway writing any seminal Punisher story. All the stuff with the Punisher that really got him going was the Frank Miller stuff and the limited series. I forgot who was the writer, but Mike Zeck's art really helped to sell it. So it's not a slap necessarily against Rob Liefeld. Plenty of people have created characters that didn't take off in the instance that they created them. However, I don't ever recall. I also don't recall Jerry Conway say, "Hey, I'm retiring from writing any more Punisher stories."
Another
So,
thing.
that's the other thing right here that I would have to consider. I'm like, okay, yes, without a doubt, you, Fabian Nicieza, creators of Deadpool. I think it was maybe a couple other writers, and since I'm not 100% certain, I won't say their names. But it was a couple of other writers where this guy gained traction, and definitely his first series with art by Ed McGuinness, who the last time I checked didn't work with Rob Liefeld on the series. So I'm just trying to understand, what did he do with Deadpool that, at least I should be like, oh no, Rob, please, no, we need another story from you like you did before. Remember that Rob Liefeld story about Deadpool that everybody was buying up? Do you remember that story? No, I don't either. So here we are. But I'm gonna give it all jokes aside. Yes, Rob, I'm taking the piss, but all jokes aside, he's still very good when it comes to the publicity and the marketing. Okay, this is the guy who instituted a signing bonus for Heroes Reborn, and Marvel was dumb enough to go along with it because they were like, we should be making all this money. It's like, no, even if you are making all this money, these guys don't get signing bonuses. They're not athletes. Okay, there's none of that type of nonsense. It probably happened once and never happened again. But hey, but look, this is a guy who hasn't really contributed to Deadpool in any significant way for decades, and yet him saying here would be the challenge for me. No, no. If Rob Liefeld said that he was no longer signing any more Deadpool books, I'm not signing any more Deadpool books. It's just going to be this. It's going to be like this last series of conventions. And then after that, I'm not signing any more Deadpool books. I'm just done with it. Now, that would be significant because I think that's like $115, a signature on this type of stuff. But that's not what he's saying. He's saying that he's not going to be working on this character anymore, and this is the character he doesn't really work on. So there's your
That's
news.
This is the
that, no,
official.
that's a thing to say to visit it and do 4 to 5 issues or a year or something like that. This is one of the bigger problems in comic books because the history of comic books is, if you look at Batman or Superman, it's the years of putting out stuff which led to almost, was it 20, like surviving the crash, that sort of thing, of having these books out there. And the same with the Fantastic Four, you had over 10 years of the same team. So when Jack Kirby left, sales went up when John Buscema was on it. In the same instance, where you had books like the X-Men, even though that was almost, the new X-Men were almost canceled, like the fact that you had Byrne on it for 3 years, and then the artist that was before Byrne went on it, and he did it for within a year's time. And then you had Paul Stone, so you had this consistency that led the book to go on. And then Marvel, with their infinite wisdom, they kind of looked at it as, oh, we could do a comic book have someone on there for a year, switch the talent, and still have the success. But you see the numbers just slowly weed out as the fans went with the actual creators and not stay with the title. Given something, in my opinion, I don't have any way to kind of do it now because people follow the creators, but having that 3 years, which was usually a round frame, like the 2 years don't cut it. Like 3 years says, hey, I got to stick with this book for a long time. And then when the artists change, it's still the same book. The Superman, everything is pretty much the same, just the art's a little bit Wayne Boring to Kurt Swan. It's still Superman. So you're not going in there and say, okay, now we're doing something totally different. This miniseries after miniseries doing, I'm going to try to do my Dark Knight thing every 5 to 10 years is not a good thing of success, but it is how this market works. But we have to say he didn't put forth, as creator, time in the thing to say, I'm doing X amount of issues of Deadpool, but he wants all the credit for the creation, right? He did like 2 issues of it, and really making something a success is being there. But Marvel at the same time has been there fortifying it and paying Rob Liefeld royalties for the character. So, like we had to say, when you have something like Venom, Wolverine, Punisher, that have many people kind of jumping in and helping out and adding stuff and doing the storylines, that's what we should remember in these type of things, because it was a group effort keeping Deadpool going after Rob left, where it was like there's no guidebook on Deadpool, outside of, actually they made it work a little better because some of the artwork you couldn't see. So I just want to say, success in comics, there's an old school success. This is just kind of staying on your thing, and it's something to say that Marvel kind of kept the character consistent the entire time. It was humor, it was action, and that's what a successful character is, trying to keep up that sort of thing. And I think a lot of people get caught up in the creation, but that's
So
all I got to say.
why did Marvel continue to give him stories? So he's claiming he's done 1,000 pages for Marvel for Deadpool, and he's been doing. He just completed a story for Deadpool that's going to come out this summer. He's done other new.
Thousand?
He's done another limited series, and in fact, if you go to the Marvel website, they say back in 22, Rob Liefeld's greatest Deadpool story ever returns to the comic shop in Deadpool: Bad Blood. Deadpool hits graphic novel is serialized in comics from this April. So he's saying that he helped to define some of the key characters that you have that Deadpool actually has, and who he really is.
Is
Now,
that like 40 to 50? That's like 50 issues, right?
it
You're
doesn't
saying what?
matter.
That Rob? You're saying Rob Liefeld is saying that he's instrumental in giving Deadpool some of his key characteristics? Is that what he's saying?
He's just saying he has been a major force, and that at this age of 57, he wants to go out at the top because he has.
Okay, so that's what he's saying then. He's saying that he was instrumental in giving Deadpool some of his key characteristics. That's
Says
what he's
no
saying.
author is combined to write and illustrate more Deadpool work. I complete this journal with over 1,000 pages along my mercenary misfits.
A thousand published pages.
I think
He
we need to
doesn't.
do the
He's
math
just
on
saying
that.
1,000 pages, right and illustrated. So I think we got to make a distinction.
A thousand published pages. That's what we're looking at. So we're talking actual stories, pinups, that type,
Oh.
you know,
You
ads.
guys have no shame, man. You got no
What are we
shame.
talk? What are we talking here? No, look, 1,000 pages. If we're talking like a 20-page book, a 20, 24, let's say a 20-page book. Okay, we can do the math on that easily. And I don't recall Rob Liefeld ever writing that much Deadpool or drawing that much Deadpool.
Is
So we
it
have to.
something
We
did
have to.
the Cable and Deadpool where he was like the plotter or something like that, the plotter writer or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, what's that? If it's 20 pages, and he says what? What did he say? 1,000?
Yeah.
Yes, he's like, what is he trying to be like? 50
That's
something?
like yeah,
50?
that's like 50 books.
I
Okay, so
mean, when you figure Claremont did like
giving
100,
Deadpool blood.
that's not a bad run when you talk about 50,
That's
right?
not a come on.
That's not a
Ah!
run. That's not a run. That's an issue here and an issue there. That's what, two issues. That's what, 98, 99, three issues of New Mutants, whatever amount of issues of X Force. And then I guess wherever he pops up, he decides to do something here and there, Bad Blood. That's why I'm asking. Is this, counting pinups and, is all of this stuff
Yes.
published?
Yeah. Yep.
And with Rob Liefeld, unfortunately, you have to do that because again, he's doing the P.T. Barnum thing. He's like, all right, hey, come here, come see Simba, the only white elephant ever in history, and it's painted white. So you got to you got to ask these particular questions. He's again, this is no shaded Rob Liefeld. He's good at the self marketing and the publicity, so he can get the maximum amount of money. However, because I know this, I'm like, okay, when you say 1,000 published pages, when you say 1,000 pages, rather, are these 1,000 published pages? Were these all story? Was this, was some of this like some other art that we don't know about? Are you also counting covers?
Yeah. It's a little. There's some
And don't
gray
forget,
area.
he created the #1 Deadpool graphic novel, Bad Blood. And there has been no one other since then. So, and Marvel came back, like I was just telling you, not only did they make it a graphic novel, they didn't decide to serialize it as a comic. I mean, that shows you a strong story
It
that
was bigger than Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe.
There we go.
It was bigger than Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe. Please tell me you're not looking it up right now. You know, this totally defeats the point of this show. If I say something like that, and the next thing you know, you're over here doing a deep dive on the internet. You can just simply say, "I don't know."
I'm not going to
All
go
right,
into
he doesn't know. Moving right along.
Marvel. Yes, that's definitely one of his
Moving
top.
right along.
I'm not going to deny that. What I'm just trying to say is that just we have to give Rob Liefeld his kudos. Okay, guys, that's it.
Why do we? All right, look at this. I'm saying to you, he created a character that hit, right? He would, and at the same time, the thing is that he doesn't need a press release. And at the same time, if Marvel, this is successful, and Marvel, pulls up another bag towards him, he'll do another Deadpool story. Like, At the same time, as much as much as he, I don't know, they want to be on this thing of trying to go out on top type of deal is because no artist necessarily go outside of say Joe Kubert. There's not many people that go out on top where everyone is still loved. And at the same time, Joe Kubert really couldn't really sell something in the new market, but he'd always get work and always do some quality stuff, right? But it's like you can't just sit around there and go to people who still wanted to draw, like Kirby and Ditko. They were still, no matter what, drawing. Like whether their eyes or the work was nowhere near where they were when they're successful, they still had the inkling to draw. So this thing of saying I need to go out on top when so many people just had the interest that the forefathers just wanted to draw. That's what they wanted to do. Even was it John Buscema where I think who was it Gary Groth and Barry Windsor Smith, they were laughing that John Buscema said he was retiring, and it wasn't much of a retirement because he still did work for Marvel. He did like 2 things for DC in his retirement, and he was also going through cancer at the same time. So it's like here's this guy who's just like, I hate superheroes, I hate them, and he drew more comics.
Hate superheroes. Hate superheroes. Now give me that. Now give me that book. Let me show you how it's done.
That's the thing. Still to the end, he still could tell a decent story, and still clear and understandable, and people still wanted him. So it was like, hey,
John Buscema. I'm sorry to cut you. John Buscema might be one of the best examples of somebody who worked. He just like worked to the end and didn't really lose any of the quality of his art, even with his illness. I mean, if you look at some, I guess probably the best example, the stuff he was doing on the Avengers,
mhm,
and you look at the stuff he was doing like Avengers, which is like post '86, and you look at the earlier stuff he was doing, and it's him, but just no loss in quality. So
mhm.
that's going out on top for me. Whereas with Rob Liefeld, I think this is more like just going out. It's just like, hey, this time it's for the money. But then, hey, when wasn't it for the money, right?
Look,
Oh man, you gotta love Rob. You gotta love Rob. You gotta love it.
Okay, well, that's,
look.
I think we've said enough about this topic. I think it's time for us to move on.
I want to tell you,
I'll summarize what we just said. Once again, to make sure that it's.
yo, your boy is going on. I'm on this Facebook site of Forgotten Heroes, and when they bring up Rob, it always gets a lot of positive and negatives. But at some point, Rob was trying to counteract the negatives, like going at people, and you get
Forgotten
upset,
what?
huh?
Rob Liefeld is a forgotten hero.
And no, they would bring up like characters like Brigade, stuff like that. So
Okay,
they'd
okay,
have
okay.
comic books that were forgotten, and they'd had his book up, and someone would, there'd be slams, there'd be support.
Oh man, okay.
He,
No,
he would,
I'm glad you clarified because I was about to have at that one. Okay.
but the thing is, he'd get upset or get into an argument with someone, then leave, then get a fake site and start commenting again, saying, "You don't know what you're talking about," and it's just like, "Yo, stop playing the internet. Like, get out of here." Your work stands for yourself, and that's the thing. They're like that. It stands by. It should stand up on its own, not try to fight whether it be trolls or not. But he's just like a person who's like, get out there, do the work, not worrying about the internet. You've still got people interested in your Major X storyline, everything that you've done, the recent
Yes,
Wolverine
yes.
thing he did. But like he gets kind of caught up in these kind of, hey, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you what comic books about. I'm gonna tell you from my perspective. Oh, you don't know this. I read these books. I've read all these things, and you bring up the same things like, oh, okay, whatever, that sort of thing. So ultimately, he's doing it. I just think the press release it was unnecessary. That'd be my last thing.
And I say I don't think that's an unnecessary thing. I'm glad that he clarified what he's doing,
Clarified.
and if it helps to bring him up, so be it. We'll see him in another con. Enough respect, Liefeld.
Have we seen you seen pass by him? Do you go and talk to him at his
The
desk?
line is too long, bro. So I don't even see the point.
Okay, you got me. You got it. You got it. You got that one. All right.
I love this. I literally bumped into him twice, And he's always been like, "Hey, okay, that's it. Nothing negative or anything. Just walking by."
How did you bump into him? You're saying?
No, like I'm walking
You're
and
saying he bumps into you and say, like, and you're on the floor, and he helps you back up after he just like slammed right through you, or you had
Oh,
no
like the Eddie Murphy,
backbone and just fell over?
the things are
oh,
just
like the
so
Eddie
damn
Murphy joke,
crowded. It's so damn
like the
crowded.
Eddie Murphy joke in Coming to America.
I mean, the one was bumping, the other one's more like just moving out of his way with everybody else because he's coming through. But yeah,
What's the Eddie Murphy joke?
I didn't
Oh,
get.
when he's over there, he's there, and they're in the barber shop. And he's like, "Yeah, I was walking down the street. Next thing you know, I bumped into this guy, and then he
Oh,
backs up and he punched me right in the chest. I was like, oh, Dr. King."
you
That's
let
a
That's
good
what
you
he's
one.
doing.
That's a good one.
you let
He's over
you
here.
Brooklyn. You let that happen to you? You let him just bump into you?
It's crowded as hell, bro. There's no.
Oh, you let his entourage and
No,
him
no,
just
no, no. Wrong
just like
response, man. Wrong
flexed on
response. That's
you.
what happens. That's what happens when you move uptown. You get soft. No, no. That's why.
Okay, I
That's
think
why the Bronx. The
that's
Bronx is
actually
all about what? The Bronx is all about boogieing down and having fun and partying, and Manhattan's about making money. But Brooklyn is what? Be bad, be bad. What happened? You forgot how to be bad? Man, forget
Oh,
you,
dude, you let
okay.
dude.
We're closing this show up.
you
Spinnerack,
gave an extreme beatdown to Mars. That hurts. The extreme
Spinnerack.
Ooh,
studio.
hurt my heart too. Was originally from Brooklyn. Well, not originally from Brooklyn. Kind of crossed the border.
Spinner rack.
We're out.